My name is Sophia Odiorne, graduating class of 2015. For my 40-hour project, I created the private traveling journal of Odysseus. It's over there, it's open on the table. It's the travel journal that he wrote as he was making his way back to Ithaca after he was fighting in Troy. In it, I include all of the islands, characters, misfortunes, and the gods that he and his crew encounter along the way. And I had originally planned to write a stage script for the Odyssey, but found that as an actress, I do better writing as one character rather than developing several characters. But while I started on the script, I wrote a sketch for every character that was in the Odyssey, and that facilitated to me writing the journal. Since Odysseus writes about the different characters that he encounters. I constructed the journal by myself by taking an unwanted book, and I tore the pages out, and I made my own pages by taking computer paper and dyeing it in really strong coffee, and the coffee smell is still on them. They smell really good. I took dental floss that was waxed, and it was flavored wintergreen. And I used that to sew the pages, the signatures together. And so now my journal smells like wintergreen and coffee. And then I originally wrote the entries on my laptop, and then I copied them by hand into the journal. And the copying was not my favorite part because it hurt my hand after a while. I like writing on my computer. And so I found that by taking breaks and drawing in the journal, I decorated the inside cover and back cover for it. And then writing, it kind of helped me stay focused and stay inspired. And while I was typing the journal entries, I had to keep several things in mind. One was the tenses, because Odysseus would not be writing in his journal while they're being attacked by monsters. And so I had to build up to the moment, creating a climax, and then retell what happened afterwards to keep it exciting. And I also had to consider the circumstances of which Odysseus was unaware, because he is in his human perspective, and Homer's retelling was, in Homer's tale, was told by the gods who had the view of what was going on in Olympia, what was going on Odysseus' boat, and what was going on in Ithaca. So I had to write only what Odysseus was experiencing. And finally, I also had to keep track of the number of days that he was gone, because he would have written that in his journal. And like Luke, math is not part of my calling. So it was an easy thing, but it was not fun for me to keep track of the number of days. Also, what I learned while doing the book was do not underestimate the strength of super glue. I glued my fingers together. Luckily, I got them apart. It hurt. And the ancient Greeks knew history as being cyclical, and each man's destiny was tossed about by fate. And there was no clear antithesis between fate and destiny, because for them, their destiny was their fate. So there was no hope for them but to gain all the earthly pleasures that they could before entering into the lonely land of the dead. And the reader sees this demonstrated in the life of Odysseus. But Christians have a linear perspective of history, and know that history is going somewhere. And because we know the end, we have hope. And this is indicative of culture being just religion externalized. The ancient Greeks had a wavering culture. They were so focused on the earthly things, for after they died, they had nothing else. But Christians can live with hope, because this life is not the end. History is going somewhere, and we can have the peace of mind that God knows the day and time, and that our faith is not being tossed about by some mythical